You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, come on. I'm Southern, but... nope.
That'll do. Hello, I am Kat Hobson, host of Paranormal Experience here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. I enjoy having guests from all areas of the paranormal, from ghosts to ufology to cryptids and beyond. You'll find some of the best researchers in their fields bringing you some great information. Join me on Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 p. Eastern here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experienced Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Good evening. Welcome to Paranormal Experience with Kat Hobson. That's me. And boy, do we have a great show coming up tonight. I'm so excited. I have the pleasure of being friends with Tony Rathman. Y'all enjoy him every time that he comes on. He does his radio stuff. Well, he got his first radio show, which never got launched, because he won an evidence contest that I was a judge of. And it was fantastic. So now he does all the radio stuff. He is, with his wife Sherry, Entity Voices, Paranormal Investigations. And I am so blessed and fortunate to be able tonight to welcome their son, Dylan, who is a fantastic paranormal investigator in his own right. He is actually just impressed me beyond belief just with what I've heard about his skills. I have not yet gotten to investigate with them personally. But the person that I hear about those skills from is someone that I respect a lot, that all of y'all know, love, and admire, and give a really hard time to when we're lucky enough to see him. And that is Rick McCallum, who is my friend. He's the founder of Hollywood Ghost Hunters. He is the author of Ghosts Believe in Me. And I have to tell you, that's a great book. If you haven't read it yet, slack, go get it. But his profits go to St. Jude's Hospital, and who doesn't want that, right? So I am really excited. Dylan has been ghost hunting since he was 7. And we all know my opinion, as a rule, about children hunting. But he is the son, again, of Tony and Sherry, and you cannot underestimate the value of being with someone who has that level of experience and expertise in their field. So I'm very pleased, Dylan, that you're here. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I wouldn't have it any other way. And I think that, I told you before that this just got pushed up a little bit due to circumstances. You were already going to be invited. I have been wanting to talk to you for months, and it's really a great pleasure for me to have you here. And this says 7 years old. Were your parents already doing the Entity Voices at that time?
Yeah, I believe they started way before that. And I'm sure everyone's heard the story about, Shri wanted to go on Valentine's Day and then it kind of just took off from there. But
Absolutely.
I believe it was Father's Day one year that we all went and the Hotel San Carlos, and that was my first time going.
Oh, they love that place. They do love that place. Well, Rick, were you 7 when you started?
7, I couldn't walk a straight line, much less go. I was 13 when I started. So Dylan's only 2 years older now than I was when I was started. So he's got a wealth of experience. And I've been really pushing him a lot with people, whether he knows it or not, because I had the good fortune of just kind of bumping into him at a thing we did down for Spirit Realm at the Phelps Dodge Hospital. Now, Tony was like the caretaker and everything else there, and Dylan was there. And things got to where Dylan and Tony actually became part of the show. And ghost hunting with Dylan, I could tell there's so much potential there.
Yes.
That, if he just stays the course and, follows some of the right things that, he might have his own show pretty soon.
Well, anybody that doesn't snatch up an opportunity to work with him is going to be missing out, in my opinion, because I watched that investigation. It was fantastic. And I was so impressed with how, Dylan, you were able to step in and get answers, work with equipment, just really do a great job of helping to coordinate with that show. And obviously I know that you had been in Phelps Dodge a lot, but it's still a different thing when you're actually working or involved in something like that.
Yeah, definitely. It's a whole different experience.
Did you feel comfortable with it? With your role
Yeah.
there and stepping up like you did? Because you did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the group that did it, Spirit Realm, they did, an amazing job. I think it was very well organized, and I think everything was very open and comfortable for me to be able to do that.
Well, I was impressed with that too. In fact, I have welcomed Jim to Martin, the owner, to this show, and really enjoyed him. He's a nice guy and knows his stuff too, so that's a good thing. But, well, you've been involved with, one of the reasons I feel like you felt so comfortable is because you have been so involved with group tours, overnight investigations. I know because I've seen the pictures of all of y'all crashed after a long night of experiences. And, it's not often that you see someone so young, so comfortable in that environment. I know grown people who would not sleep in a haunted location. I'm not one of them. I like doing that, but it's because you get to experience the full measure of activity that's there, don't you think?
Yeah, I think when you get to spend the night, you definitely get to experience more, and then if you were just there for the day, you get to connect a little bit more, and it's a great experience, and it was a lot of fun.
Don't you think the spirits enjoy that closer connection?
I would say that some do. I mean, I'm definitely sure that there's some that, might get a little irritated, but for the most part, I'd say that they would enjoy the closer connection.
Well, I know that you've been to all kinds of sites, but we have a question in chat for you, which is, where are you and your parents from?
Phoenix, Arizona. I mean, my dad was born in Wisconsin, and Cherie was born in the Philippines, but I was born right here in Arizona.
Well, thank you for the correct pronunciation of her name, because I say it wrong every time. So,
No problem.
Cherie, you can bite me on the nose when we see each other. But I just think that it's so fun. What's your favorite location that you've been to so far?
I'd definitely say Phelps Dodge. It's very active, and it's a lot. It's the perfect location to investigate. It's got enough room, it's got enough history, it's got everything that you want for a perfect investigation.
Well, that's cool. That's a hard mix to get. But Rick, what's your favorite part about Phelps Dodge?
Well, I've only been there one time, and boy, it was really active. I mean, the basement, when I first went in there, that thing just blew up. I mean, there was all kinds of stuff going on in the basement. And then as we went farther up, each floor had its own feel to it. The third floor was really interesting because that is where Dylan first came into play. I had out the FLIR, and I was looking outside the nursery, and I saw what looked like the shape of a baby crawling on the floor outside the nursery door. And Dylan came over. We walked into the room, and he sat down in the rocking chair, and I sat across the way, and I handed him the K2, and I said, "All right, get busy," right? So he started asking questions, and he was getting answers and stuff, and I was jumping in and helping with some questions and things, and we just seemed to have a good back and forth, a good rapport, right? So I think that's what helped get us some stuff. What was really funny was I said to the K2, and Dylan was doing almost all of it. I wasn't doing very much, but I finally said, "If you do you want us to leave?" And it goes all the way off. I said, "If you do that again, we'll leave." And it does it right off the bat. It does it. And Dylan looks at me. He goes, "What are we going to do?" And I went, "We're going to leave." I promised. We're out of here. But that Phelps Dodge, I can understand why he really likes it. And I owe a big debt of thanks to Tony. While that show was on, I had walked down to the far end of the hallway on the third floor. And when I came out of the room, I turned and I told everybody, I said, "Something just walked through me, and it's not very nice." And I came back, and the spirit box was banging away, and I'm standing there, and I hear a scream, right? And I looked down there, and I asked everybody, I said, "Did you guys hear anything?" They didn't hear anything because obviously the spirit box was too loud, right? It was right next to them. But I heard it clear as a bell. So Tony said when I was on his show, he said, "Yeah, I went back and listened to all Jim's stuff. You can't hear it." He said, "But my recorder was going." And he actually got a thing where you can hear it yell. And I looked, and you see me look down there and, say, "Did you hear that?" Well, just to go a little farther, I don't know if Dylan knows this or not, but I sent the tape to Tony, the thing back to Tony. There was a girl over here that does EVP stuff, and I let her listen to it. She goes, "You're kidding, right?" And I said, "What am I kidding?" She goes, "What it's saying." I said, "What is it saying?" She goes, "It's yelling your name." So I sent it to Tony, and Tony came back. He goes, "Yeah, it is." Right. So, I mean, if Tony hadn't caught that, I would look like a boob saying I'm hearing stuff and nobody else is. But then when he found the evidence, I was like, "Oh yeah, well, stick it in your ear. Here's some evidence for you."
That's right. Well, he's great at that. That's what he does.
Yeah, no, he's really great with all the tech stuff, and he's a great ghost hunter. I mean, I can understand why, Dylan actually got raised right in the concept of the whole thing. So I'm really looking forward to me and him ghost hunting at the Globe.
It should be fun.
It's gonna be so cool.
Yeah, and I don't think either one of us has been there.
And that's Spirit Realm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be February 25th on Spirit Realm. So watch and get a good look at Dylan because he's a star in the making. And, I hope to point out a thing or two to him, and he'll probably tell me more than a few, himself. So it should be a good dynamic between the two of us. It should be a pretty good hunt down there. I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Well, he's got 8 years of experience. It's more than most grown-ups.
That's true.
So, and that's not inferring that you're not a grown-up, but you're not quite.
Oh.
Except in a paranormal realm.
Now that hurt.
Not you.
Oh.
I'm going to bop you on the nose. But Dylan, that's really cool to be your age and have 8 years of experience with the level of investigators that your parents are and their friends and team members, I mean, that's really fantastic. So I wish that I had had that kind of training as I was starting. I just went wandering around. And frankly, I didn't even really have to wander around because you can hear people sometimes without having to use equipment. But we do have a question for you, which is from Lori, who says she met you in Vegas and you're a good kid. Are you tired of being called a kid yet? But
No.
what is your favorite piece of equipment?
Personally, I like Spirit Box just because it allows for more direct communication.
I like them too, but the white noise makes me crazy. If I can use one that doesn't use that, I'm so much happier. Because I still get responses, but without the white noise. I really dislike that very much. But, well, where all have you investigated already? I know that y'all travel.
I've done a variety of hotels. We've done San Carlos. I've been to San Marcos, Phelps Dodge. There's been a couple more that I can't seem to remember at the very moment, but those are some just to name a few.
There's so many out there, aren't there?
Yeah, they're everywhere.
It's just astonishing. I mean, there are spirits everywhere, but to actually have locations that will let you in is pretty great too.
Yeah.
So we have one of the most haunted and best locations on the planet. It's iconic here in Birmingham, and they have opted out of allowing people to paranormal investigate as a rule. So it's almost tragic because the spirits there interact freely. In my experience.
I wonder why they did that.
Because they want to be known as an historic location, not a haunted location.
Oh, I see.
And for whatever reason, because I think that hauntings are part of the history of a location anyway. And especially a site that's so iconic and such a big part of the history of my town. I'm from Birmingham, and it's Los Furnace. And it's almost tragic when people choose to step away from that, because it's like, yeah, if you go, the spirits are still there and they're still interactive, but people aren't really supposed to be there doing that, so it's sad. But that's one of the things that I've been to a lot of locations equally haunted with strong history like that. And I hope that a lot of them don't decide to go that way. Sad for the ghost hunter, sad for the ghost. So, but anyway, I digress. Sorry about that. But
Well, Kat, I have to agree with you because I was able to ghost hunt Sloss Furnace, and it is super haunted, very, very active. And the fact that they don't want it to be known as paranormal or haunted doesn't mean it's not going to continue to be haunted. And some people that go in there for a little tour for whatever thing else might come out with a whole different perspective.
I think that's a strong possibility, Rick. I took some people there who just wanted the experience of possible interaction, and they did get more than they anticipated. They got more than I anticipated. And it was very disconcerting for me even. But it wasn't negative. Nobody was ugly, but there was a scratch that was pretty good. Pretty good scratch.
Well, that's funny because there was a girl and her husband were with us, and we'd come out from down below, and we were standing outside, right in the open clearing,
Mm-hmm.
And the girl goes, ow, right? And the husband looks and goes, what's the matter? She goes, did I lean on something hot? And he goes, everything's turned off here. Nothing's hot. So he lifts up the back of her shirt. She had 4 scratch marks right down her back. And they were just starting to welt up. So, I mean, I knew they just happened. It wasn't anything they'd planned. And so, yeah, Sloss Furnace is making a big mistake by not turning that into an icon of paranormal, because, I mean, it's one of the most haunted places I've been.
I got in trouble because I was emphatic about that with their director. Something along the lines of, you should dance with the one that brought you, something might have come out, but I apologized. But we have to take a break. So, everyone, thank you so much for being here. We're going to take our first break, and we'll be back on the flip side. Be sure to pop your questions in our chat room. So, you can go to WBHM-DB.com and just click on the Paranormal Experienced icon. It'll take you there.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama. Since 1948, Fate Magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting. You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio. Broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, come on. I'm Southern, but... Nope.
That'll do. Hello, I am Kat Hobson, host of Paranormal Experience here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. I enjoy having guests from all areas of the paranormal, from ghosts to ufology to cryptids and beyond. You'll find some of the best researchers in their fields bringing you some great information. Join me on Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 p. Eastern here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
We are confident that none of our hosts are possessed. Being repossessed a few times? That might be a different story. You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, Birmingham, Alabama.
Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 23 minutes after the hour. Welcome back to Paranormal Experience with Kat Hobson. I am so glad that you are here because, this is a great show. I have Rick McCallum and I have Dylan Rathman, both excellent ghost hunters. And I am excited because, back in the day, when I interviewed Tony, it was so much fun. Tony is Dylan's dad. And I love having him on the show because he brings EVPs, and I love when people bring EVPs. That's about what y'all got to listen to today, but I didn't have enough. So, I do have enough. I just didn't have enough downloaded. But I am just wanting to know, Dylan, where is the place that you have gotten, aside from Phelps Dodge, the best and the most numerous EVPs? Well, I know that y'all have investigated there a great deal. Do you have any grasp on how many spirits are residents there, or is it more transients? What do you think? I always find it interesting when I'm in a location and go back and I have the same person talking to me that, oh, they couldn't hear you. So your answer was that you don't know, but they do have a large number of the spirits there, right?
Yeah.
But sorry about that. I don't know where that glitch was, but it seems to be. Is it fixed? Nobody said they could hear you. Okay. Well, you're supposed to hear him. We're all connected. But that being said, I think it's cool when I go to a location and get a lot of interaction with specific spirits and then go back and the same spirits are there and they remember me. Do you have that happen a lot?
I don't know if I'd say a lot. I mean, there's definitely times where you do connect with the same spirit on multiple occasions. Like at Phelps, that happened a lot. At San Carlos, there were definitely spirits that we've ran into multiple times. When we first started, there was this one spirit. Her name was Candy, and she was there practically every investigation. Like, there's one clip, my dad says, "Hey, Candy, are you here?" And you can see an orb fly right into the screen, and she says, "Absolutely."
Really?
Yeah,
I
it's
think
awesome.
I've seen that clip. That's cool. Because I was surprised by the orb. So, and I don't really know why. I see them all the time. But that one, that was cool. You know, what is the best EVP, in your opinion, that you've caught?
That I personally have got, or just like the EVPI team?
No, you. What's your favorite?
Wow, that's a really tough one.
I know, right? I know you have tons.
I can't really pick a favorite. There's so many.
Not even an idea?
No, I can't pick one. There's a really good one that I think we were all there for this one. It was at San Carlos, and it was down in the basement. And I think Cherie's recorder picked this up, but we were all down there, and literally as clear as a bell, it says "dishonor" in the creepiest tone you can possibly imagine.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's really creepy.
I love it when they use voices. Like when they emphasize.
Oh, yeah.
But I have one that's my favorite that was a man that was upset, and you could hear it in his voice clearly. And I was just like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, he wasn't upset with me, but his situation. But it's funny. Sherry wants to know, have you ever run into a malevolent spirit in a location? And if so, what happened?
Well, there was God, I hope I can talk about this.
Just don't
Well,
use bad words.
No. There was one when I was younger at San Carlos where I was with my dad, and my dad actually didn't tell me about this until I'd say a few years ago, just because I was too young. And the spirit, or one of the spirits, they manipulated my voice, and they said some terrible things about my dad using my voice. And they said words that I didn't even know of at the time. And so, yeah, I would say that was definitely I'd say that's it.
Well, I would agree with you. I'm always surprised at how some entities will manipulate like that, and for no apparent reason. They just are ugly to be ugly. I'm glad I don't run into that often. But you've run into that, haven't you, Rick?
I've run into all kinds of things, but one thing I have found out, and I don't use this word very often, But I have found out if you get a voice that's mimicking, it's generally not anything to mess with.
I agree.
It's one of the bad guys, and they can get really, as they say in the South, hateful ugly. All right, so it's a good thing to just avoid them totally. But yeah, I've run into quite a few weird things. I mean, just one that you know of when you did my promo.
Yes.
When I asked the Frank's box if there's anything in the castle to be afraid of, and it says in a very clear Scottish accent, the energy. You know, so I mean, it's weird when you get a direct answer and it's, you know, pertains to what you asked. You know, I had one more that if you don't mind me telling about it.
No, please.
I had been at the birdcage in Tombstone, and I'd set up all my equipment, and all my equipment died in 45 minutes. I had 9 pieces of equipment, and everything died. Okay, I had placed. For anybody that knows the place, there's a basement, and it's where they had the world's longest poker game. And they also had like 3 rooms or 4 rooms right next to the poker game where the ladies of the evening plied their trade, shall we say. But this poker game went on for 3 straight years without stopping. Somebody would come out, somebody would get in, it just kept going. But a lot of people got killed in that room. So I put my camera down so I could see the whole room, and I went upstairs. And as I was walking up the stairs, I said, "Did you get killed down here?" Didn't hear anything. I said, "Did you kill somebody down here?" And I went upstairs and I got Billy Hunley, and we were going around looking at the other stuff. And we came back down I have this on video. As we come back down, I'm standing there, and Billy says something, and then a voice with very Hispanic accent says, "I had to." So obviously he's answering, "Did you kill somebody here?"
Yes.
Right? You know, because very seldom would you say I had to die. So, yeah, so there's been some very germane things that come through that, you know, certainly make you go, okay, now that was pretty cool. But I mean, I've had so many of them. I mean, they're not even my favorite, either one of those.
That's funny. But I think they're great, though. What's your favorite? Because I know you've got so many.
My favorite was from this magician's house. And I only say that because I promised not to say which magician it was. He was a good escape artist, too, by the way. Anyway, when we were down there, being one of my friends, one of my guys in my group, Ed Ackerman, he and I walked into the basement, and this huge black shadow went across the bedroom wall. So I thought, well, maybe it's something from outside. And I thought, well, we're below ground pretty much, except for this one window. So we went over here. We kept walking back and forth. We couldn't make any shadow at all. So we went in. There were 2 queen-size beds, and I set the K2 meter and the voice recorder on the bed. And I went over and sat down on the futon about 10 feet away. And Ed picks up the K2 meter, and he walks into the bathroom. And as he's going in, he says, "I'm going to get a bass reading." And then about 5 or 6 seconds later, you hear very clearly, "No." So for years, I played that for people. And one day I was by Roslyn Castle on the bridge, you know, the famous bridge that you see pictures. And one guy from Scotland says, "What's your best one?" I said, "Listen to this." And he goes, "That's amazing." I said, "Yeah, the no is pretty good." And he goes, "No, what it says right before that." And I went, "Huh? What do you mean?" "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "There's 4 words right before it." And so I pick it back up and I hold in my head, and I can hear the cadence, but I can't hear what it says. And he goes, "Go back and put your headphones on and crank it up and listen." I said, "Well, what does it say?" And he says, "It says, your friend says, I'm going to get a bass reading." And then it says, "Get back here, punk." No. So I went back and I said, "Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I'll play it, and, you know, I'll play the game, and be danged if that's not what it says." So
You've played that for me. That was so weird.
Yeah, "Get back here, punk." No.
I think it's funny that it called you a punk.
Called
him a punk.
He could have called me a punk too. I mean, what was I going to do about it?
Well, not a lot.
Yeah, pretty much nothing. He did, and that angry spirit threw us out of that bathroom.
Well,
because we kept asking questions at the K2. We finally figured out that it was a guy who was a miner, because it used to be a quartz mine where this thing was. And he was angry. This guy was really angry. So finally I said, I'll tell you what, light this up and we'll leave, right? It's got to be all 5 lights and we'll leave. And bam, instantly. So I said, okay, just to make sure that was you, bam, 5 lights again. I didn't even get the rest of it out of my mouth. So me and Ed go to the bedroom to pick up, the other stuff we had. And I told him, I said, that was really something, wasn't it? It goes off 5 lights. I said, are you telling us to leave? It goes again. I said, all right. So we went upstairs and there was a reporter up there. And he goes, what happened? I said, well, a spirit threw us out. And he goes, wow, I'd like to see that. I said, Ed, take him back down there. I told him I'd leave. So I did. You go. Right. So about 10 minutes later, the guy comes up and he looks at me and he goes, he threw me out too. so that was a pretty active house, let me tell you.
Wow. Dylan, have you been tossed out by a spirit yet?
I think when me and Rick were in the nursery and when we asked the questions, like, light it up if you want us to leave, it lit them up.
Well, yeah, it
And
did.
booted us out.
I'd forgotten that, but it sure did, didn't it? But
I blame it on Dylan.
it's all Dylan. All Dylan's fault.
Sorry.
Well, that's all right. He's been tossed out of so many places, Dylan, that you would just be worn out if you were the person responsible for all of those. So don't sweat it. Well, Dylan, Sherry wants to know, do you have bucket lists? Or are there places that you so badly want to go? And if so, why? What's the draw?
I'm trying to think. Waverly Hills is definitely up there just because of all the history and all the evidence reported. You can definitely tell that, there's definitely something there.
Yes.
And then Diplomat Hotel in the Philippines, my dad and Sheree went there and they brought back so much evidence, and that was another really compelling place that I definitely want to investigate someday. I don't know, there's a lot of places. Oh, the Conjuring House is another really big one.
That's an interesting one. Why are you particularly drawn to it?
To the Conjuring House?
Mm-hmm.
I would say the movies. The movies kind of brought it to light, and then, seeing what the movie said, and then seeing all the other evidence brought that wasn't shown in the movies. And, I've talked to Andrea a few times, who grew up in the house, and just hearing what she said and what, all the other evidence that's come up, it's definitely a compelling place that I hopefully get to investigate someday.
Have you read her books?
No, I actually have not been able to read them yet.
Well, they will give you a different perspective, because Rick knows I'm not bursting his bubble or anything, but I don't watch horror movies. And you may hear him whimper in the background, but probably not this time. But, so I've never seen The Conjuring House, and not any of the episodes or renditions of it. But I have interviewed Andrea several times, and she's actually a good friend of mine. So the experiences that she recounts, like you, they fascinate me. And I don't understand that level of animosity towards people that didn't do anything to you, that those spirits appeared to have. So I would like to investigate there too. What's another? Do you have another?
I wish I could go and investigate Phelps again.
Truth. That has to be very upsetting not to be able to right now.
Yeah, it hurts a lot.
Well, let's storm the damn place. I'm not going to allow him picking on Dylan.
Well, I could come out there too, and we could let David do bail. So,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's just storm the place.
Oh my goodness, we're going
I don't
to
know
jail.
if that would work too well.
We're going to jail. But,
No, I'll take the rap because actually I'm really lonely and I could use some new friends.
well, there you go. Don't take the dress.
No, leave that at home.
Well, I think, Dylan, that I would love to go to Phelps. I've never been there. I didn't get there in time. So I can only imagine with it being a second home, basically.
Yeah, you would have loved
You do
it.
miss it so much. I loved what I saw. And, the times that your dad has described different investigations and different experiences there, I felt like I knew it. So it was a bummer that I didn't get out there in time. So what?
Well, there's other things that happened at Phelps that we didn't really. I don't know if we got it on film or not because I was too busy wandering around aimlessly trying to find things.
Well,
But
yeah.
I know Dylan was standing next to me when we saw shadows at the end of the hall. And I kept saying, look down there. And finally Dylan goes, oh, yeah, now I see it. So, yeah, there was all kinds of stuff. I don't know if it made it into the show itself or not.
A lot of the stuff did, but I don't remember that specifically. Well, I know the times that y'all had done some overnights there, Dylan, that your dad had posted some of the evidence that he got. And the place really was so obviously active and with a variety of activity.
Cherie just texted me asking if you guys got disconnected because you can't hear it and it won't play anymore.
Well, we don't have anybody in chat saying that, so maybe because she hit refresh. That might be an option. Or we could ask the people in chat if they're still hearing us. I'm showing us still going out, but because I can't say it to her if she can't hear me, but you could text it to her.
Yeah, I just text her.
Thank you.
Ask Lori. Lori's listening.
Well, Sherry said she can hear us, and Lori said she'll storm the castle. So we have to go. We have to go to another break, but we'll be right back, and maybe Cherie will be refreshed and be back with us too. So y'all come right back.
You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, come on. I'm Southern, but... Nope.
That'll do. Hello. I am Kat Hobson, host of Paranormal Experience here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. I enjoy having guests from all areas of the paranormal, from ghosts to ufology to cryptids and beyond. You'll find some of the best researchers in their fields bringing you some great information. Join me on Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 p. Eastern here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experienced Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Welcome back to Paranormal Experience with Kat Hobson. I'm so glad that you are here. I'm with my guests, Dylan Rathman and Rick McCallum. And, I am very fortunate to have both of y'all here tonight. Dylan, I'm so glad to actually get to talk to you and to learn more about your work and how you've developed your skill sets. I know that you have got great role models as far as EVP work goes, but you are just so interested and interesting that I'm having a great time with you. So, and you too, Rick.
Oh, thanks.
Toss that bone, right? But no, seriously, because Sherry actually wants to know your opinion on who you think shadow people are and why they tend to stay at the same location. And Dylan, I would like your opinion on that also, if you don't mind.
Can you repeat the question? My headset kind of cut out.
Absolutely. Who you think shadow people are and why they tend to stay at the same location? Just your opinion.
I think shadow people are just, because I'm just gonna say they're just regular spirits, and maybe they with a lot of energy, and maybe they stay at certain locations because that's where they have the most connection with. Maybe that's where something happened to them the most, but again, I'm not entirely sure what they are. Or that's just what I believe. I think they're just regular spirits with a lot of energy, and that they stay where they're at because of the energy connection.
Interesting. Rick, what's your opinion?
Well, it's pretty much the same as his, but I think that spirits will show themselves in many different ways. I mean, I've seen full body apparitions. I've seen orbs. I've seen shadow people. I've been slapped in the head. I've been pushed down the stairs. They all have different ways of manifesting. Some are more quiet. They just walk as shadows. Others pop in and engage in chicanery, shall we say. So yeah, I just think it's just all part of the spirit world. They're just different ways of showing themselves.
Do you think that that's because that's the only way they can show themselves?
It could be. I think a lot of the shadow stuff you see too is residual haunting stuff.
Could be.
And not the not the intelligent one that you can actually interact with.
Well, okay. I was going to say, sometimes I feel like I'm getting so many shadows around me, like the Paulding jail, when I'm upstairs going to bed because I like to sleep over there. It's a really fantastic place to do that, because once you go upstairs, if you are pretty strong, they tend to not mess with you if you say, look, I'm tired. I've got an 8-hour drive tomorrow. Don't bother me. I don't care if you're here. Just don't bother me. And, you still have shadows flitting around. And I've never seen, to my knowledge, I thought I did in New Orleans, but it's so hard to tell there, a full-bodied apparition. Dylan, have you seen a full body?
Not with my own eye. We've definitely captured stuff and, seen it after, but I've never seen one with my own eye, no.
I wonder why some people see them frequently and others struggle with that. Do you have any idea on that, Rick?
Oh, yeah. I've said this for a long time. You will not see a ghost unless it wants you to see it. So maybe the people who are actually seeing the full body apparitions are the ones that they are trying to connect with. I've always felt that spirits and humans interact on an energy level.
Yes.
And if your energy level is inviting, you'll get more things. And I do think that spirits, because they are energy, are attracted to similar energy. So
I would agree.
so that's kind of what I think happens there.
that what you think too, Dylan?
Yeah, I would agree.
Do you
I
think...
told you he was smart.
Oh, please.
If he agrees with me, he's a smart young man.
That's funny. That actually, you are pretty good at what you do, but he is too. So, you just have to agree with each other.
Oh, we will. If he's as good as his father is, then he's doing okay, because Tony's one of the top of the line guys, and you can see it in Dylan too.
You can.
The only thing that Dylan doesn't have is age,
but he does have experience.
He does have experience, but with age comes more experience
and learning from it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like being talked about in the third person, Dylan? Sorry about that.
No, I don't mind.
But I do agree, because Tony is the top of the line. And if I had a questionable EVP, that's who I would send it to, if I couldn't discern what it was saying. So, a lot to be said for knowing the best in the field sometimes. So, Rick, have you ever been to Thomas House in Tennessee?
No, I haven't. I've been to a couple different places in Tennessee because I used to live there, but no, I never have been. I tried to get into the Franklin house that was, in Franklin, that was a big battle house. And
yes,
a lot of those places back then, because this is quite a while ago, this is 30 years ago, were not as open as they may be now,
Well, I am finding that to be the case, because it's all of a sudden, and I do blame that on irresponsible paranormal investigators that tend to write water towers and stuff. But I think that if you have a good rapport with the owners, that sometimes they will still be willing to let you come in. And I think that if you were to approach the people there, I think you would stand a very good chance of being able to investigate, even if it was just for a little while they were open. Well, until they knew they could trust you.
Here's one piece of advice for Dylan, and I'm pretty sure that Dylan already knows it, but the way I look at things is a lot like they talk about when people hike and camp. Leave nothing but footprints and take nothing but memories. And that should be the same as when you go to a haunted location.
Yeah. Well, and photos.
Well, lots of photos.
Yeah.
Especially if you happen to be a world-class photographer like that girl, Kat Hobson. Who, by the way, for people who are listening and don't know, she's actually had her own gallery showings of her photography, but she doesn't like to brag about it. So I'll brag about it for her.
Thank you so much. Now I'm blushing. But it is true. I'm very fortunate. So I like that. And I'll go you one further. I was a featured artist in a gallery in Gulf Shores pre-Hurricane Ivan too. So I like wildlife and nature.
You know what that's like?
The beach.
That's like watching a flower bloom. She's coming out of her shell, everybody.
Well, I kind of don't have a choice. You're standing outside just pecking away at it. And I don't mind.
Away at it? I've got a sledgehammer and whacking it.
It's okay. I know that you're happy for me to be able to do those things and stuff. So,
absolutely.
And I'm happy that I was able to have that opportunity. It's really nice.
Yeah. Well, everybody should have, happiness and things in their life that really makes them happy.
Well, photography does.
Yeah. And now we're going to try. Now we're going to try and make a star out of Dylan, so that when I'm really old, he may say, you helped me. Here's $10 for a sandwich.
Your sandwiches cost more than $10.
That's true.
That's true.
Tillamook mudslide.
Oh my God! Don't support that. That's the one that will break you, Dylan.
That's why he's my favorite kid in the world. Tell him a mudslide.
You're going to have a great career, Dylan, to keep him in mudslide. Because he likes a steak with it, too.
Yeah, because you may want to take up a side job of, say, bank robbery or two. Besides ghost hunting.
I got you, Rick.
Thanks, man. Got you back.
Now, see, I do need testosterone. So, I knew it between the two of you guys. Hey, man. What's up? So, that was my impersonation.
That was pretty good.
Thank you. I always freak you
else
out
tried.
when I do voices, right?
Yeah, you do. It's like, who was that?
Yep. And Dylan, it's really funny because I do like doing caricature voices and stuff. It's just fun for me. And so I don't ever talk to anybody else except my husband, and he's heard all of them. So every so often I'll just toss something out there and it flips him out. Rick does not know what to make of that. So,
well, I always think there's somebody coming up behind you in your house when I hear a man's voice. Cat, there's somebody in your house.
He does. And then he says,
that has actually happened. Cat, did you hear that? I heard a man's voice. That was me.
Then he's like, do I need to call David? And I'm like, do not call David because you heard that.
Yeah.
So, although it was really interesting the other night because he heard something. What I heard was a voice, and he heard something else. He did not say it was a voice, but it was so funny because, he doesn't hear anything here. And so I was just like, But our power was out, so there was no distraction, and there was nothing to blame it on. And all the dogs were in the room with us. So he had his own little experience. But
it's a lot of dogs.
It is a lot of dogs, but they were all asleep in the same room with us. We had snow.
Snow?
We had
Boo.
like 4 inches of snow.
Boo.
I live in Alabama. It's not supposed to happen.
I know.
I'm coming. I'm down below both of y'all's.
About that.
Yeah.
I'm in Southern California. That's pretty south.
Well, but I am the South.
There's another T-shirt for you. I am the South.
Pretty much.
Hey, Dylan.
Yep.
Would you ever go overseas?
Yeah. A heartbeat.
In a heartbeat.
I was waiting for somebody to ask that.
Well, we were going to get there, but I was trying to get to the top of the hour because we don't have time to answer a whole question. But that one was answered very quickly, so good job, Dylan. So,
no, when he comes back, now he's got to tell us where he wants to go.
Oh,
yes, he does.
Okay.
Now he has
you'll have time to think about them. Oh, my goodness. Sherry just said the snow is happening tomorrow, too. And she posted snowmen and snowflakes in chat. I thought you loved me, Sherry. But we're going to go ahead and take this break so we can get back and have more fun, get more information, find out where abroad Dylan wants to go first and why. So, we'll catch you on the flip side. You know what I always say, we're looking for a little good news, right? I think that the best news is that we have Dylan and Rick. I mean, really, that's what matters. So y'all come back, and we'll come back too. Thanks for being here.
From NPR News, I'm Jack Speer. President Biden tomorrow plans to call out former President Trump for the role he played in the deadly attack on the U.S. Capitol a year ago. NPR's Franco Ordonez reports on Biden's speech marking the anniversary of the January 6 assault.
President Biden has largely avoided talking about his predecessor since taking office, but White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says he will forcibly push back on the lies she says President Trump has spread in his attempts to mislead the American people.
I would expect that President Biden will lay out the significance of what happened at the Capitol and the singular responsibility President Trump has for the chaos and carnage that we saw.
She says Biden is very involved in the writing of his speech. She called January 6, 2021, a dark day for American democracy that hit the president personally, noting his more than 3 decades in the Senate and the relationships he has with those in Congress. Franco Ordonez, NPR News.
Denver hospitals are nearly full as Colorado is now seeing 1 in 4 people in that state tested for COVID-19 recording a positive result. From Colorado Public Radio, Claire Cleveland has more.
Hospitalizations were declining steadily before the holidays, but capacity is now razor thin, says Denver Mayor Michael Hancock, who extended the city's mask mandate into February.
Doctors, nurses, and hospital staff have been doing their jobs on the brink now for 2 years. They need a break. And through a simple act of getting vaccinated or getting our booster shot, we can help them get that break.
Hancock tested positive for the virus last weekend and says he believes being vaccinated resulted in mild illness. The daily average case rate in Denver is the highest it's been since the start of the pandemic. For NPR News, I'm Claire Cleveland in Denver.
Chicago schools were closed today after the teachers union there voted to switch to remote learning due to record COVID-19 levels. The move comes amid an escalating battle over safety protocols. Officials in the nation's third largest school district have vowed they will not switch back to online learning district-wide, though. Stocks ended the day sharply lower as NPR's David Gurr reports Wall Street reacted to news from the Federal Reserve.
Minutes from the Federal Reserve's latest meeting indicate it could fight inflation more aggressively. Fed officials are considering raising interest rates sooner than expected or at a faster pace. Higher rates would mean higher borrowing costs, which could hit companies, particularly in the tech sector. But the sell-off was pretty widespread. The Dow fell by more than 1%. The Fed is recalibrating its approach to inflation. For most of 2020, Fed Chair Jerome Powell said the surge in prices would be temporary. But the minutes are the latest sign the Fed is moving faster to bring down inflation from its highest levels in nearly 4 decades. David Gurra, NPR News, New York.
The Dow fell 522 points. This is NPR. The woman who has accused former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo of fondling her at the executive mansion says a decision by prosecutors to drop the case shows why victims fear coming forward. Brittany Camiso, one of Cuomo's top executive assistants before she resigned, made her comments in a statement. It was released hours after the district attorney in Albany announced the former governor will not face criminal charges over the allegation. Cuomo resigned from office in August amid a slew of accusations from women. He's denied the allegation. General Motors CEO Mary Barra is doubling down on her company's plans to go electric. As NPR's Camila Dominowski reports, Barra used her keynote address to the Consumer Electronics Show to unveil the automaker's electric Silverado pickup.
Speaking remotely because of the Omicron variant, Barra promoted a range of electric vehicles, from the glass-roofed pickup and fancy Cadillacs to more affordable options.
I've been driving the Chevrolet Bolt EUV for some time, and I have to tell you, it is so much fun to drive. Once you experience an electric vehicle, you'll be all in.
Barra also announced that Walmart is buying thousands of electric delivery vans from GM. GM has had a rough few months between chip shortages and a recall of Chevy Bolt batteries. It just lost its crown as the top-selling automaker in the U.S. to Toyota. Camila Dominowski, NPR News.
The International Olympic Committee is promising the Winter Games in Beijing will go ahead as planned next month. Switzerland's team leader had asked for talks about possibly postponing the Olympics due to rising numbers of COVID-19 cases, but the IOC is promising teams worldwide will be attending. I'm Jack Spear, NPR News.
This message is brought to you by the NPR Coffee Club. A subscription brings fresh roasted coffee directly to your door. And you can also give a gift subscription to the NPR superfan in your life. Learn more about our new NPR blends by visiting us at nprcoffeeclub.org.
Welcome back to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 5 minutes after the hour. Welcome back for the second hour of Paranormal Experience with Kat Hobson. I'm so glad you're here. If you missed the first hour, oh my gosh, you missed some great stuff. But no worries, because you can find us on iHeart, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, just about everywhere. So wherever you get your music and your podcasts, you'll find us. So welcome back. I am so excited, and I didn't even tell people that we have Dylan Rathman and Rick McCallum. So I'm so glad you guys are here, and y'all are so funny. I have enjoyed the break. And Dylan, you've got great timing.
Yeah, that was perfect timing.
That was perfect.
Wow.
So, other than me being all freaked out because Sherry said that they've already closed the schools for tomorrow, what else has happened during the break? Nothing. That's why we're back. So, I didn't listen to the news because I didn't really want to know right now. I am so COVID weary, and I know that a lot of people listening are too, so that's why we bring you stuff besides that.
Stuff that's fun.
Stuff that's fun and that makes you want to get out there and enjoy all that there is to be happening. And Sherry says, man, she wishes she was a mouse in the corner during the breaks. No, you don't, because I would hunt you down. I don't like mice. But it's just... Dylan, you were talking about where you want to go internationally, and I would like to know why you have those choices in mind.
Oh, like I said over the break, I think I'd choose Scotland just because good buddy of mine, Rick McCallum, has been there. He speaks such highly of all the places there, and so highly of Scottish Paranormal. And
I know, right? They're awesome.
And I think it'd be really cool to go there, especially with Rick, because he has such a wealth of knowledge on some of the hauntings down there.
Well, let me tell you a little something that's a possibility for you. He's going in July, leading a tour group. That would make a fantastic birthday present.
Dad?
Saying. He's listening.
He just turned off the volume.
I bet it wasn't in time, though, because he didn't know what I was saying. So
you can't stop us, Tony. We told him during the break.
But that would be so cool because I'm going. And just think of all of the investigation experience we would get together, the things we'd see and hear. I'm so excited.
Well, I have to tell
you guys should have fun.
I'm not going to say any names here, but the quality of the ghost hunting people that are going on this tour is off the charts. It really is. And you know what I'm talking about, Kat.
I do.
Dylan probably does too. But I mean, it's, we got some people with some pretty strong resumes in the ghost hunting department. So it should be a heck of a lot of fun. And then teaming up with the Scottish Paranormal guys.
I'm really excited about that aspect myself because when I interviewed them, they are so fantastic. And they went live. I mean, that's the wee hours of their morning, right? And they went live with me, and I was so appreciative of that.
They are very nice people, and I can be very persuasive if I have to.
Well, I choose to think it's because they were like impressed and excited to get to talk to me too.
Well, I would think that was it because I didn't really have to hardly say anything other than you want to do this show, but we'll have to be up in the middle of the night. You're going to be up in the middle of the night ghost hunting. What's the difference? Talk to Kat. Well,
that's
okay.
Exactly right. And you know what? It was a great show because they're great investigators, and I love watching their lives. Dylan, have you ever watched Scottish Paranormal investigate?
No, I have not had the opportunity to.
Well, they do live feeds, so you would really enjoy that. Their abilities and professionalism come together to make just a great blend. So I think
is that
you
on
really
Facebook?
would enjoy it. Well, it wasn't live, so but their stuff live is on Facebook. Our show we only have the podcast, although I do have the recordings up, but their stuff is on Facebook under Scottish Paranormal, and they have a and you're welcome, guys. You can buy me a burger, Allie, but they have a subscribers area, and it is so fantastic because they have a storefront, right? So they teach people how to do stuff. People can just come into their shop basically and get set up to do an investigation or just describe the experiences they're having in their home or business and get some input. And if they feel that they need an investigation, they can schedule one. The people that are that group are they're just brilliant. And they never fail to get evidence, in my experience of watching them. It may start off slow, but it's not going to stay that way.
And they have great senses of humor. They really do.
Yes, they do.
By the way, you don't have to worry about Allie buying you a burger. He owns a cafe, remember?
I know that. I'm going to get the Rick McCallum burger.
I know. Isn't that weird? I have a burger named after me. Holy cripes.
Well, I'm surprised it's not a sandwich.
No, it's not a sandwich. It's the best burger I've ever eaten, and it ain't even close.
Right.
The reason I'm telling you guys this is because, well, first off, Kat brought it up, but my friend Allie Reed actually made a ghost hunting cookbook that is out for sale. Yep. And he used, and I'm using air quotes, paranormal celebrities to name their favorite dish, and he made it for them. And I told him about my burger, and criminy sakes, I'm about ready to start selling my plasma so I can get back there to get some more of that burger, because it was really something. You know what, though? This is one thing that I'd like to say about those guys. They all have their section of expertise. Mm-hmm. Ryan is really good with the EVPs and the filming and the drone. Gregor is a great investigator, and I mean, he has written, I think, 8 books on the paranormal of Scotland. I mean, he's as knowledgeable as anyone. Kyle, who is Gregor's son, is actually, like Kat, a world-class photographer. And some of the pictures he puts up are just stunning.
I have a calendar hanging right here. I just started.
Yeah, I know. It's some of his pictures are amazing. I'm waiting for the Kat Hobson calendar hint. Anyway, but yeah, and then Ryan and Allie is a great investigator. So, and he feeds you. So I mean, it's all good. So when we get there, we're going to actually have some fun. But we still got to get Dylan over there someday. Not this year, probably not, but we got to get him over here.
Well, I'm hoping that we get to go this year.
Well, that would be wonderful. Yes.
Would be a miracle, but you know what? Miracles happen every day. So where else would you like to go abroad?
Diplomat Hotel in the Philippines.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had heard about that even before I met your dad. So that has got such a reputation. Where else?
Can't really think of anything at the moment. Putting me on the spot here.
I know, right? We'll revisit that.
Yeah.
But, I think that the Diplomat Hotel is a fantastic choice. And I actually met a woman in southern Mississippi from the Philippines. She comes over often and goes gambling. But we wound up having lunch together because I had a big table, and so we got to have lunch together and learn more about each other. But she was telling me about so many different things in the Philippines relative to hauntings, and I was really surprised because I guess I had just never sat down and talked to someone from there to be able to learn so much. And you have Cherie right there. So, it's, I need to sit down and talk with her too. Cherie says Romania, Dracula's Castle, and the Carpathian Mountains. So, and we're joined by Denise Pridemore in chat. Hi, Denise. So, do you have psychic or empathic abilities?
No.
Not any?
I mean, at least not to my knowledge at the moment.
Well, sometimes they do develop, but you don't have to have them to be outstanding at what you do. So I am really thrilled because to get a chance to talk to someone who is your age with your level of experience is a rare treat. And I'm curious, this is my question this time, but when you are out investigating and you're there with, your parents' peers, really not necessarily in your age group, do you have any other people your age that you investigate with?
No, I actually have never been investigating with someone, in my age group. I mean, I've, looked into setting things up with friends but none of it has been fulfilled so far, but working on it.
Well, I think that's neat. Are your friends intrigued, or do they think it's a little freaky?
Some of them are definitely interested. I think the freaky aspect of it is what actually draws some of them, and
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Well, do you feel like it's freaky? I mean, do you feel like an anomaly in your friend groups?
No. I mean, I think there are definitely parts of paranormal investigating that are, that are freaky and, get, scary at times, but that's just part of it. But as for like friend group, no, I don't feel like an anomaly.
Well, that's good because it's hard. I mean, what you do is different from the average person, right? And sometimes people can make you feel that way even without meaning to. I mean, I'm not saying that your friends would do that on purpose or anything because they're friends. But sometimes I have found that people my age look at me and say, "You do what?" And I'm like, no, really, it's fun and it's educational because if you can get interaction, you can learn so much from different time periods or, whatever. I've only had one flashlight session and one K2 session and 2 or 3 spirit box sessions that lasted long enough that I actually, in one instance, I ran out of questions, right? Because it went on for so long. And I finally just said, if there's anything else you want me to know, I need you to speak to this box because I'm out of questions for yes or no answers. And you're still going, and I don't know what to ask. So that was kind of neat. But it's still freaky. To me, it was freaky. Because it just started, I'd set my K2 and my other stuff down on a rocking chair while I was taking a jacket off. And my research partner that day looked over and said, "Your K2 is going crazy." And I just kind of looked over and it was. So that was neat. But unusual. That doesn't normally happen to me. So I liked being freaky that day because I got a lot of information. So when we come back, I want to revisit with you some of the things that you think are your most bizarre, for lack of a better term, experiences and a couple of other things too. You good with that?
Yep.
You good with that, Rick?
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, we'll be right back. We've got to take this break right quick.
Warning, the following message does not necessarily reflect the views of WBHM-DB or its hosts, guests, listeners, or of any functioning adult in general. In fact, Frank should probably seek professional help. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi there. Frank Lee here. I thought that I would spend a few moments telling you about the positivity from the network here. The overall message of para-unity and happiness, and how everyone here wants to get along with everyone out there, and how everything is just wonderful. Wait, Cat's not looking. Okay, I've got something to really tell you. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what's really going on. Honestly, all that being nice and positive crap was kind of hurting my soul, as dark as it is. So, what's really happening? You see it all the time. Everybody and their brother out there has a paranormal team because they watched a couple of episodes of Ghost Hunters or some crap like that. So they go and they spend half their mortgage payment on tools and things that light up that they don't understand. And then the next logical step, after buying matching black t-shirts and posing like 90s rappers for their Facebook page, is to, of course, have their own podcast. Well, you know what? You're not going to find that crap here. What we have here at WBHM Digital Broadcasting is the best host, the best guest, bringing you real information. All of the hosts here on this network know their stuff. They are the people who have been out there doing the work, doing actual research. And no, by research, I don't mean binge watching some kind of cheesy TV show on Netflix. I mean reading books. I mean out in the field doing the legwork. And who are they interviewing on their shows? They're bringing you the people they have learned from. They're bringing you the best in the field, covering all kinds of topics, from UFOs and aliens to Bigfoot to cryptozoology to ghosts to anything you can think of, a bit strange and unexplained. It is here, and you're going to get the best information here. So stay tuned to WBHM Digital Broadcasting. Don't go anywhere. Speaking of going somewhere, I've got to go before my mic gets cut. We'll see you there on WBHM-DB.
Welcome back to Paranormal Experience with Kat Hobson. That's me with my guest tonight. Man, y'all are just so lucky. I have got Dylan Rathman and Rick McCallum, and they know each other. They've investigated together. They are just a hoot and a half, and I am having a wonderful time. Guys, thank you so much because, you know, this has been already just a great show, and we have more stuff to get to. Rick, you had said something, Rick, during the break about when you were in Scotland at Balgony, that you had a situation where you actually ran out of things to ask.
Yeah, I did. I actually walked in, and the guys had told me on the way over there was a girl named Mary, which was really funny because we'd stopped at these caves there in right on the North Sea. And they said that they also got stuff about her in there on the EVPs. And they said, I took out my K2 meter and they said, that doesn't work in here. And I said, Mary Sebald, her name is. I said, Mary, are you here? And it goes all 5 lights, and they look, they go, what the hell? Right. So when we got over to, same thing happened when I did the LAPD museum. Brandon Alba says, hey, we used that for 2 days. It never went off. I said, Walter, are you here? Bam. And they're like, okay. But
well,
yeah,
I mean, that's just you and a K2. You are a K2 magnet. You just get everything with them.
Me, let's put it that way.
It does.
But I walked into Balgony and I said, Mary Sebald, are you here? And I get 5 lights. So I said, okay, is this really Mary Sebald? He goes, yeah. I said, did you live in the castle? And it goes like that. And I asked like 3 more questions, and I went, I got nothing. I don't know anything about this girl. And they told me she lived here. Then I just went, Gregor, help. I don't know what else to ask. And she's paying attention. So by the time he got over there, we got 1 more question in, and then it ended.
She was done. She didn't want to talk to Gregor. She wanted to talk to you.
Nobody can understand Gregor.
I understood Gregor fine.
Yeah, what about Ryan?
I understood Gregor fine.
I have to tell you what we do when we're riding along. Ryan is the guy that actually formed Scottish Paranormal. And he'll be talking in the back seat. He's got the hardest Scottish accent in the world. And I'll just turn around and yell at him. I said, will you speak English? But
I did tell him that during the interview, too. He said, you've been talking to Rick. I said, yeah.
I did it to him all the time.
But, well, you know, we were talking again during the break. And Dylan, I fear that we damaged our relationship with you forever by fussing about white noise of the spirit box. But we still love you, man. Really.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, don't hold it against us. But you don't have any trouble with that, do you?
I mean, it definitely gets in the noise, or gets in the way of when, you know, the spirits say something and you're trying to make it out. It definitely makes it a bit more complicating. But for the most part, you just got to understand that that's part of it, and find a way to work around it.
Well, the reason that I had such a struggle with it, or do have such a struggle with it, is because I missed what I felt like was an extraordinarily important and personal EVP, because I couldn't pick it up through the white noise until I was home reviewing, and it was a location that I can never go back to. They're going to be tearing it down soon. And it's so much worse shape than it was when I was there, that my husband would just have a stroke if I said, I'm going here. But I missed something that was very emotional for the spirit and very obvious from the tone. And I just was like, ugh, that stupid white noise. I've got apps on my phone. I've got so many possibilities, but I have a struggle with setting them up to be able to get good information out of them. I just like
I mentioned during break, my dad has, he's made a couple of boxes that really, is able to take out the white noise and make it a lot more clear.
Well, he and I are going to be talking about that soon.
Well, the box that he brought out at Phelps Dodge was really cool.
Tell me about it.
Well, Dylan can tell you more about it because he and his dad brought it up, and I have no idea how to work it, but it sounded like an echo box almost, but it was pretty good.
I'm trying to remember which box that was, because he's made a couple. Was it the E-Box?
It might have been. It was the one that actually had like the multicolored lights in it.
Oh,
that might have been. Was that? I'm trying to remember, because that was a while ago. It was either the Portal or the Evox. Well, because then he just made another one called Reverse Box.
Really?
And what that is it's a bunch of there's no English words. It's just, I believe, syllables. It's just a bunch of syllables put into reverse. So there is 0 English words in it whatsoever, and it just goes through that. It's not like it's static. It's just that. And it works extremely well. I actually got a spirit box for Christmas that my dad was able to put this reverse box into that. And I've been using that when I go over there, and it works extremely well.
I would be interested in that.
Bring it with you to the globe.
That's the plan.
Do bring it with you to the globe so I can see it in action. Because I'm going to be watching y'all, so.
Sounds good.
Actually, I've been bothering Tony about a piece of equipment lately. For the people out there, Tony's like my go-to guy, Cat's go-to guy for all the techno wizardry stuff. But I wanted to get a better microphone for my voice recorder.
Mm-hmm.
And I found one, and I called up Tony, and he goes, oh, if it's got that, get it. So I ordered it. I'm waiting to see it. But the weird thing is I also have a piece that you plug into your voice recorder, and you can just watch it because it looks like a K2 meter with the lights. and you can ask a question and then be quiet. And then if it goes off while you're being quiet, it means it's picking up an EVP. So it makes it a lot easier to go back and find stuff if you know that something was actually in there, so you can really look and listen to it, at certain
Is it like a
times.
spectrograph?
No, it's just lights. It's got 5 lights on it. It looks almost like a K2 meter, but it's a square box, and it goes into the headphones so that anything that goes into the thing comes out the headphones, and this thing picks it up. So I'm going to take the bionic ear, kind of thing that's, it looks like a hockey puck, right? And put that into the recording part, put this other thing into the headphones, and see exactly how that new microphone is going to work.
That'll be fun.
That will be at the Globe.
Okay.
And you all have to watch this Globe thing, because I guarantee you it's going to be fun. And hopefully we'll find a lot of things, and we will investigate the heck out of the place. Dylan's like a little magnet for ghosts, so we should have some activity at that place.
That'll be so much fun. I can't wait to see that. What was the date again?
The 25th of February.
Well, there are a lot of spirit realm things coming up. It's going to be so much fun. I like it.
I know of somebody who's going to be at one of them. That would be the lovely and talented Kat Hobson.
Well, is that official?
I don't know. Sure seemed like it to me.
It sure seemed like it to me, too. I'm so excited to participate because I love Jim Martin, who owns Spirit Realm. And he is so creative and comes up with all these great ideas for locations. And I know that he gets input for that, too. But I interviewed him a couple of weeks ago. If you did not hear that show, it is in our iHeart archives, so you can go and listen. Just Google Paranormal Experience with Kat Hobson, and you'll find him. Unless it was on Fate. Then you can look at Fate Mag Radio. So just search iHeart. You'll find it. It's a great show. But I think that the things that he's doing, bringing investigations to people that can't get to those sites, is great. Because, Dodge Phelps, I wasn't able to get there. But I did through watching the Spirit Realm investigation. And got to see some of my favorite investigators. So it was a good thing.
Well, another good thing about that is he doesn't charge a lot for the live feeds.
No, he doesn't. He really doesn't. So I love being able... Yeah, I saw you on the... It wasn't him, but I saw you on the Queen Mary. I mean, to be able to participate even through just watching other people do it in an experience on an epic historical site, it's brilliant. There's so many people that can't get to these locations, that would never be able to get to these locations, and they're being brought into their home via the magic of the internet. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, the one from the Queen Mary, that was actually
Dark Zone.
Dark Zone. That was Jay Blumke and Kathleen Burns.
Yeah.
And one
I
of the
love
people,
Jay too.
One of the Kathleen too. They're both really nice.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, 2 other people that were on that boat was Tony and Cherie.
Yes, they were.
So.
And my friend Aiden Sinclair. I mean, there were people wandering around there that I knew all over the place, and it makes it fun.
Well, Tony and I saw something, and Cherie did also. He was watching the monitor, and I was watching it with him. And all of a sudden, he looks up at me, and I said, "Did you see what I saw?" And he goes, "Yes." And he goes running off. And I was like, "Where's he going?" Right? But he ran down to tell the people downstairs to mark that and make sure that recorded so we could see it again. And it was actually some guys that were standing on the stage, and one guy jumps off the stage, and he goes to his left. And you can see a heat signature on the curtain behind him. So you think, well, maybe he was leaning on the curtain or something. And then it goes to the right. And we
After
all
he
saw
wasn't there anymore.
Yeah, he's gone. He jumped off and he went to the left. The thing, the heat signature, went to the right. So
That's so cool.
yeah. And me and Tony and Sheree all saw that at the same time. So that was pretty interesting.
See, that's what I'm saying. You know, I've been on the Queen Mary. I've gotten to wander around aimlessly and just do my own thing. Because, I went for lunch, when I was down there, you told me to go to Long Beach. But, it was amazing. A, the place is beautiful. But B, it's so freaking haunted. Even if you're just wandering through. Because I just took my phone out and was using my voice recorder and got stuff.
Yeah, it's very haunted. Hey, Dylan, I've got a suggestion for you.
Mm-hmm.
You should be writing down like a journal of all your ghost hunts that you remember and the ones that you go on from now.
Mm-hmm.
Because that could be a pretty interesting book in a couple of years.
It's a good idea, Rick. I'll write that down.
Literally. And trust me, once you write a book, and I'm talking to both of the people on the screen, it really does make a big difference. I mean, I've been offered to go to conventions and stuff ever since my book came out. So it helps. It really does.
Well, I tell you, it is not as easy as I thought it would be. And I didn't think it would be easy. But because I've always written, but I've only written for my entertainment, it's a whole different thing. I wish that I had chronicled these experiences that, thank you, Sherry, that, as they were happening. Because now I have to go back through my evidence on some of them. A lot of them, I had experiences that just stuck with me. They just struck me so personally. But if I had been journaling as I did this, it would have been no problem at all. And I find myself second guessing myself and having to go back, and I have a big shell of memory cards that I have been having to go through, which is part of why it's taking so long, but that's not the full reason. But if you've got a journal as you go, then it's so much easier. Because I've started doing that.
I'll give you another tip with that, Dylan. It's if you're going to go back, and if someday you ever think you want to make a book out of your adventures, in which I would say, I mean, you've got a captive audience. I mean, you're 15, you've got that a lot of people in that age group would want to read your book. But if you start to do a journal, the first two things you should write down is the date and the location, because when you're trying to remember, when did that happen? And I know this because I just went through it. I was like, crap, was that when? Holy crap, it was that long ago. So
that's been my reaction.
Yeah, wow.
But real quick, while we were on the subject of shows, Rick, do you think we'll ever get or is there a Hollywood Ghost Hunters reunion planned in the mix?
No. And it's not because we wouldn't do one. We'd absolutely do one. But getting Kane is really hard because Kane is always working. If he's not working, he's at a convention. So that when he finally does get a day or two off, he likes to go and, hang out with his wife and kids. So, and frankly, Kane makes a lot more money in movies than he would doing a show. So, and, if it was me and RA, it'd be me walking around while RA was sleeping in one of the cells. So
I was thinking a reunion at like Pico House, but
yeah, well, we should, because I'd really like to see Kane choke Zach again.
Oh, I forgot about that.
No, you know what? I did a movie with Zach. I was a stunt coordinator for his movie, and Zach is a really good guy.
He had a movie?
Yeah, it wasn't a ghost hunting movie. It was one that he was producer of.
Oh.
It's called Sympathy Said the Shark.
Well, he was a theater major. So that is his background.
Well, he's part of my all-star team from Chicago. If you're looking for ghost hunters, you got Zach Bagans, Dave Schrader, Chris Fleming, Ursula Bielski, and little old me.
Dylan Rathman.
And Dylan Rathman.
There you go.
He was born in Chicago.
Oh.
Yeah, but he is on the All-Star team.
Yeah.
He can be the junior division. Once you get to 16, you're out, buddy. You better start finding some stuff.
I think that's a hoot. But I will tell you that is an all-star team. Ursula alone is just brilliant.
Ursula, I remember sending you a message saying, ask her about the hoofs.
Yep.
And I saw her in person, and she talks about this story where they used to, the neighborhood used to go to this second floor dance hall on Archer Avenue in Chicago. And this handsome guy came in, and all the girls were oohing and ahhing. And finally, he selected which girl he wanted to dance with, and they danced a couple dances. And all of a sudden, she looks up at his face and screams. And he picks her up, and the two of them jump out the second floor window. She doesn't jump. He's got hold of her, right? And go out the second floor window. Well, she lands splat on the ground. He lands on his feet. All the guys in the place go chasing him out there because it wasn't an accident. He jumped out the window with the girl. And when they got out there, the girl, I don't know if the girl passed away or not, but she was definitely really hurt. But the weirdest thing was when they looked down into the concrete, there were hoof marks and not foot marks. So, yeah, so that's one of the creepiest ones I've ever heard. But Chicago, and Ursula always makes this case, is by far the most haunted place in America. Archer Avenue is like ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And I live right next door to Archer Avenue. I mean, you got Resurrection Mary, you've got the Legend of Hell House, you got the Eastland disaster where 880 people drowned when the Eastland tipped over in the river. John Dillinger, that guy, what was his name? The guy that built the places and tortured everybody at the World's Fair and killed them. H.H. Holmes. Yeah, I mean, Resurrection Mary, she shows up every Halloween, and I mean, it's Bachelor's Grove, you know.
Yep.
You know, one summer, Rick, I got to just kind of spend the summer with you and go ghost hunting all summer.
Yeah, there, you got it. I won't charge you that much rent.
Sweet. I have to save up for a while.
No, your dad can pay off in Echo boxes.
Hey, we have to take a break, and then we've got a question for y'all in chat. So it's for actually you, Rick. So we'll be right back, and we'll get to that question. Y'all come back too.
You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, come on. I'm Southern, but... Nope.
That'll do. Hello. I am Kat Hobson, host of Paranormal Experience here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. I enjoy having guests from all areas of the paranormal, from ghosts to ufology to cryptids and beyond. You'll find some of the best researchers in their fields bringing you some great information. Join me on Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 p. Eastern here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experienced Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Welcome back to Paranormal Experience. This is our final segment, so if you have questions, pop them in the chat. Rick, you actually do have a question before we get cranked back up. Have you ever been to the Congress Hotel in Chicago?
Stuff.
There you are. I had lost your sound for some reason. So you have not been there, but Kane has.
Yeah, Kane has been there. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, Kane has been there, and he actually investigated the place a little bit. He says it's actually, he was trying to get me into it, but I wasn't in Chicago at the time. So, but yeah, Congress Hotel's got a lot of reports about activity there. So that would be a good place to go.
What kind?
Oh, they see apparitions, noises, the typical stuff. The one place that is the most under investigated place is the Chicago River. They had years ago, they had a cruise ship come down, and I think it was for St. Patrick's Day, but I'm not sure. But all these people were on the boat, and they all ran across one side to look at, something that was going on, and the thing capsized and killed over 800 people at one time.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, there should be somebody out there with a voice recorder and things like that. By the way, I wanted to ask one thing, because you brought it up, and I was just going to ask the question, and you started telling the answers, which happens with us a lot.
Sorry.
I have never seen anybody that got an EVP over the top of a spirit box. Is that what happened when you were talking, that you could hear the EVP, but the spirit box drowned it out?
I could not hear the EVP until I was at home doing my review.
Because I've never heard of anybody that ever got an EVP over the top of the spirit box.
Yeah. Well, it needed the headphones, which I had headphones on when I was investigating. But when I never heard it. And then when I came home, the question I had asked was, did everyone here die of a heart attack, because it was a trauma center? And an old man's voice, when I was at home reviewing, had said, "No, they shot me. I sent you that EVP."
Yeah, I remember that.
It was compelling. And
right to the point, too.
Yeah, and I will never be able to tell him I'm sorry that I didn't respond, because it sounded like he needed some communication.
Yeah.
Denise wants to know, did you ever meet the paranormal cops?
No, I never did. I was already gone from Chicago by then. I saw the show a couple times. It was kind of interesting. But no, I never actually did. The only person there that I really met, that was two people that I met that were really into ghost hunting, was Chris Fleming and Ursula Bielski.
Right.
And Ursula is the one that did all the tours for Chicago, the ghost hunting tours. Fascinating.
She's so knowledgeable. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That was one of my favorite interviews ever, and I appreciate you connecting us.
Yeah, she's got some stories, I'll tell you.
She does. And unfortunately, her business was one that was touched by the pandemic. So I'm hoping that comes back, because she is the best of the best.
Oh, I don't think anybody, I don't really know her that well, but just watching her in person, listening to her, I don't think anybody's going to hold her down for very long.
I can't see that either. So she's brilliant. But, well, where should we go from here? Maybe to the globe. Dylan, you're going to be able to investigate that here shortly. What are you looking forward to experiencing there?
Well, first and foremost, being able to investigate with Rick, who, obviously, as mentioned before, has a wealth of knowledge that I'm hoping to get from him. I'm hoping to learn quite a few things from him. So that's definitely one of the things I'm looking forward to. I don't really know a lot about the Globe Jail right now. I know that there's a lot of activity, and I know that there's a good amount of history behind it. So I think it's just to expand more on my knowledge on, the paranormal world, to learn to be a better investigator. And I think at this very moment, that's Yeah, I think that's about it because I don't really have a lot of info on the specific location.
You know, I think it's one of my favorite things about you, Dylan, is at the very end of the bio that you sent me, because I didn't know all the places that you had been and, you know, how young you had started and stuff, but that you're bound and determined to learn everything he can about the paranormal and capture as much compelling evidence as he can. I think that you are well on your way to the final part of that, and I think it's because of your determination in the first part. I think that that's so cool, because there's people a lot older than you who have been doing this forever, and sometimes they struggle with the evidence capturing, but they're still they are compelled to continue. So I'm so glad to get to talk to you at this point in your career, because I know you're going much farther. But Sherry wants to know, what is this glow place? I've never heard of it. So somebody tell her.
Rick, you want to take this one?
I don't really know that much about it. I mean, I know it's a jail down in Arizona, and that's where we're going. And the reason I don't know much about this, and I've told people this before, I don't like to know a lot about the place when I get there. I like them to show me, say, this is a hot spot, and that's it. That way, if I actually say, I came back and I saw a woman in a blue dress and, or whatever, and then they go, oh, we see that too all the time. That just gives what you've seen more value, more validity. So I really don't listen to too much stuff. I'll tell you, when I went to the LAPD museum, Jay was already in the back with Brandon Alvis and Kristen Luman and Susan Slaughter, and they were doing their recap of the other days, and I came in on the third day. And he said, just sit up here by the front desk, and the place is empty, right? Everybody's in the back. And I hear heavy boots walking right in front of me on the tile, and it walks right past me, and I'm looking out the window, there's across the thing, and it looks right out the front window. There's nobody there, and I can hear them clear as day walking. So when Jay came back, I told him, and he goes, come with me. And we go in, there's this adorable girl, Misha Walden, who is like the person that runs the place. And he says, tell her. So I told her, she says, see, Tony, Jay, I told you. She had just told him that she hears that all the time from her office, which is right next to where I was sitting. So to me, that gave both of our stories more value, because I had no clue about any of that. Had never been to the LAPD museum.
See, those moments in time, that just makes the whole thing. I think that's neat. Yeah,
I do too. I'm really looking forward to doing the Globe, because I really enjoyed ghost hunting with Dylan. Dylan's got a wicked sense of humor, and actually I do too. So this may be pretty interesting. So, but yeah, he's got a good way about him of ghost hunting. So, and I'm telling you, it's not the reason I've really been pushing for him is because I can see if he gets the right nudge, he's gonna get there. You know what I mean?
I do.
So, and I wish somebody had nudged me when I was young, but back then there really wasn't anybody doing it. When I started when I was 13, that's a long time ago. I guess I could have asked Abe Lincoln what he was up to, but
he was busy getting ready for the theater.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which, by the way, my relative was the one that met him in the theater. I've told you that before.
You have. And someone under Scars, whose name is Mikey, said, I didn't breathe on your arm.
When we were at the LAPD museum, Mikey, my friend, I call him the Glacier because he's like 6'3" and 320 pounds, right? He's huge. We're standing in the jail, and I feel somebody bump into me, and I look over at him. He's like down picking something up. So I figured, being the big moose that he is, he probably bumped into me by accident. So I said, you bump into me? And he goes, no. Okay. So I'm standing there, and about a minute later, right on my my left forearm, right near my elbow, but in the meaty part of your forearm, something blew really hard on my forearm for like 3 or 4 seconds. It wasn't like, wind went by. It was like, really wanted to get my attention. I turned around and I looked at him. I said, "Did you blow on my arm?" And he goes, "No." So every time I see him, I go, "Did you blow on?" "No, I didn't." So, but I mean, it was really interesting. And when we were at Las Vegas, I was in with Kristen Luman and Susan Slaughter and Jay and Kathleen, and we were all, and Misha, we were all doing this panel. And I said something about getting breathed on. And Kristen Luman goes, "Yeah, the same thing happened to me." So we now call that.
Did you not know that?
No, I had never heard it. So, so now we call that guy the breather, because I've heard his voice. I heard his breathing real hard in one thing, and we actually caught it on an EVP, because I walk in this room and you hear, you hear me go, "Did you hear that?" I didn't hear anything. It's like, I'm half deaf. Why do I hear these things and you guys don't hear anything?
Well, because you're half deaf. You don't have the distraction. And for the record, Mikey said mostly muscle. So just so you know. But well, guys, we've got 3 minutes. Take a minute and a half and do what you want with it.
Go ahead, Dylan.
I don't really know what to say.
Well, did you have a good time?
Yeah, I did. I had a lot of time. Thank you for having me on. It was a pleasure.
Well, thank you for being had. I have enjoyed this every bit as much as I'm sure you have, because I didn't know. I knew your parents' background. I knew the team's background, but this has been fascinating to hear you. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Rick?
Yeah.
What you got?
Well, I was just thinking about what you were saying about Dylan, and it's one of the really cool things about Dylan is that he's very respectful.
Yes.
And you don't really see that in a person his age, so it's actually very refreshing. And I think that might be one of the reasons that he does get interaction. And also, for a guy his age, he's really good with the equipment. So, I mean, he's got a future in ghost hunting if he wants it. And he should really keep a journal. Not that I haven't said that before. But yeah,
I heard that earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been brought up.
Yeah.
Once or twice.
So I'm really looking forward to ghost hunting with him. And I do know a couple of things that might help him for the future. So, and that's just from being like really, really old, So,
Back when dinosaurs roamed the earth and they were taking people apart, you could hear the voices screaming later, right?
Yes. Well, somebody asked me why I wanted to go something with Dylan. I said, because he's young and he can run fast. So when I fall over, he can go get help.
That's
thanks, Rick.
Given current situations, that's not a bad thing.
That's true.
I could use a runner.
Yeah. So. Well, I did a face plant at the Las Vegas convention. I tripped over my suitcase and the little tuck and roll into the back.
I was going to say, I heard the tuck and roll was pretty good.
Well, I have done that before,
A time or two.
I did do stunts for 40 years. And by the way, just to add on to something you said, I don't watch horror movies either. I just work on them. I'm not a horror movie fan. I like comedy.
Me too.
And steroid men kicking each other. I like those.
Well, I've got to tell you, we've got 15 seconds, and I have had the best time. Thank you so much, both of you.
Well, thanks for having us.
Well, perfect. Just been perfect. And for everyone listening, thank you so much, because y'all are the reason we do this, right? And I appreciate all of the support. I appreciate the communication, and be careful out there. It's a wacky doodle world that we live in sometimes, but mostly it's fun. And if you get sick, then take care of you. Take care of the people around you too. Try to protect them. But that being said, thank you again so much. We will see you next week. Same cat time, same cat channel. Thank you for being part of Paranormal Experienced, and have fun out there. Take care. Good night. I'm not through. I forgot to tell you, if you don't like the world as you see it, fix it. Go out and manifest some change. You can do that. Good night.